Hello, this is Jas-tified, and here we talk movies. So we have Fardeen with us and Jas here. Okay, இன்னைக்கு நாம பார்க்க போற படம் Vaazha or Vaazha, I don't know. We are not native Malayalam speakers, so
Tamil it's Vaazha.
Yeah.
Malayalam I think it's Vaazha.
No, we have Vaazha and Vaazha in Tamil also.
What are the meanings of each?
Vaazha is to live.
Adu Vaazha.
I mean, Vaazha is to live.
Banana and Vaazha
is banana leaf. But I think it's Vaazha then.
I'm pretty sure we're screwing both languages.
Okay, sorry. I think it's Vaazha.
Padam peru Vaazha. Oh shit. Okay, Vaazha.
ஏன்னா அதில் banana தான் காட்டுறாங்க, the banana tree.
நான் edit பண்ணி I'll plant the pronunciation of Vaazha. So whatever it is, if we are right, hey, if you're wrong, sorry.
Yeah, so okay, அந்த படம் தான் இன்னைக்கு பார்க்க போறோம். ஓகேவா, அவ்வளோதான்.
பார்த்து முடிச்சிட்டோம்.
அந்த படம் பற்றி பேச போறோம். ஸோ ஒரு குட்டி ஸ்டோரி ஆஃப் தட் படம் என்ன அப்படின்னா, do you want to like
நம்ம அந்த படத்தை பார்த்த கதையா இல்ல படத்தோட கதையா? படத்தோட கதையா? ஓகே. So இப்போ வந்து we are going to talk about both the movies. There's been 2 that's come out in a span of 1 year each. Back to back.
Yeah.
So Vaazha 1 I think it's called a biopic of a billion boys, and Vaazha 2 was called biopic of a billion bros. So we watched both back to back, right? And we decided if we're going to talk about this, we'll probably talk about both at the same time, because one, they both deal with very similar tones and themes. They're pretty much the same movie. I mean, they're not the same movie, we'll talk about it. They're very similar in the ideas that they discuss and talk about. And also because making 2 videos of each of these movies would be a bit redundant, you know. We'll pretty much be saying the same thing about the first and the second, with a bit of a difference on the second, which we will see. I don't want to spoil it for you, but essentially, yeah, we're going to talk about both the movies. I yap a lot. I'm like, yap master 4000. But we're going to talk about both the movies. And
sorry.
Okay, we're going to talk about both the movies, starting with the first. And basically, the movie is a very true to life, not overly dramatic. The first one, a true to life, not overly dramatic, coming of age, real life slice drama type movie. And the main themes that it's dealing with are the relationships between some boys, and the relationship between these boys and their fathers, and how life treats them. That's pretty much it. But what we actually need to talk about is how this movie makes you feel. Yeah, that's what I'll start with. You go. Okay. What do you want to start with?
இல்லை, நீங்கள் சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தது போது ஐ ஹேட் இட்ஸ் டூ ஹாட். ஓகே, எனக்கு ஒரு டவுட் வந்துச்சு. என்னன்னா, டிட் யூ திங்க் த மூவி வாஸ் அ கண்டினியூஷன், லைக் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பார்ட் இஸ் அ கண்டினியூ? எனக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மூவி ரிலீஸ் ஆனப்போ ஐ ஹேட் அ ஃப்ரெண்ட் ஹூ டோல்ட் மீ மூவி இஸ் ரியலி குட், கோ வாட்ச்.
Bless that guy.
The girl.
Bless that girl.
Yeah, அப்போ நான் பார்க்கல. So I had no clue about the movie. So second part வந்தப்போ கூட we weren't planning to watch it in theater or anything.
Yeah.
And ஒரு நாள் we just thought, ஏன் 2 பார்ட்டும் சேர்ந்து பார்க்க வேணாம், அவ்வளோதான். அப்படிதான் we started watching this movie. And எனக்கு வந்த விஷயம் எல்லாமே வந்து the movie is very emotional, பார்த்தா கண்டிப்பாக அழுதுருவீங்க, ரொம்ப ஃபேமிலி ஓரியன்டாக இருக்கும், அந்த மாதிரி தான் வந்துச்சு. That was my abhiprayam about the movie before I watched it.
My abhiprayam about the movie was I'm not going to watch this because everyone's spamming this shit on every possible social media platform. And I don't know, like, I might sound like a prick saying it, but usually when something is trending or viral, it's probably not the best.
Yeah, I agree actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not always true. Like something really good can be trending. Like this. This proves me wrong. But in most cases, it's shit.
And the trend will lose interest madri, I don't at some point. Some movies, some songs kuda. So adanala.
But this is one of those situations where you're just so happy to be proven wrong. Because I watched this movie starting with an intention to hate it. I wanted to hate the movie because it was just trending everywhere. And then 15 minutes in, I realized, I'm going to love this movie. That's all it took. Because it's not like, the first 15 minutes of the movie is setting this big, grand world building, like Lord of the Rings. No. It's not like there's a really punchy action scene. No. It's not like there's a, big, fancy, colorful Mollywood music song sequence. Nothing. It's just introducing all these characters, right? It's introducing the boys that's going to be the central characters of the movie. And it's like us peeping through a window into their lives. And the director and the cinematographer do a really good job at this because it doesn't feel unreal. It doesn't feel like a screen exists between you and the cinematic world you're looking at. It's like your neighbors and you're observing these guys go about their lives, which is beautiful filmmaking. And I think a lot of people can learn from it.
Yeah, that's nice. Like, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it called the act of nothingness?
Depends on what you're trying to say.
No, I'm trying to say, இப்போ எதுவுமே பண்ணலனாலும் சில விஷயம் அழகா இருக்கும். எதுவுமே பண்ணாதது தான் அதோட அழகுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி.
I don't know if it's the right thing you're trying to say, but there's a quote from a really nice movie. I don't know what movie it is, unfortunately, but the quote is, "Beautiful things don't demand attention."
Yeah.
That's what this movie is. The first one.
Okay, you don't have to keep saying the first one. சொல்லியாச்சு, they'll know. Yeah. அந்த மாதிரி, like, அதுதான் I was trying to say. அவங்க எதுவுமே எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரியா லைட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஸ்டஃப் இல்லைனா நேச்சுரலா பசங்க வளர்றாங்க ஸ்கூல்ல. அண்ட் ஈவன் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபியூ சீன்ஸ்ல வந்து the father and mother will be, they'll talk to each other. அவனோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஷிப் சரியில்லை, இவன் சரி, நல்லா படிக்கணும் அதெல்லாம். And it's very real. I think very parents real. Are like that. சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே.
Exactly. Like depends, it depends on who's watching this video. If you're from southern India and you watch this movie, I mean, not just southern India, anywhere in India, I'm pretty sure some cultural aspect will tie up with this movie. You will find something relatable with the lives of these families. And the very stereotypical way these parents are discussing the futures of their sons, it's like, what, he's going to either become an engineer or a doctor, and to make sure that happens, we need to make sure this guy is going to be studying at the best possible school with the nerdiest possible boys, and we need to make sure our son is staying away from all the gangsters and the backbench rowdies. I know it's relatable because my parents did that to me.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there are so many people out there who've gone through similar things. But I mean, not to draw comparisons, but the last movie that we talked about was LIK. And when it comes to conveying a point or trying to make it relatable, the way this movie does that, the way this movie tries to make it relatable, that kids growing up in India are subjected to a lot of peer pressure from their parents and their societies and the neighborhoods in terms of the weight of the expectations of what they need to be in their future and how it affects them. It doesn't do that too dramatically. It just eases it into the story, and they don't make it obvious. You feel it. You don't understand it. You feel it. And with LIK, it's like rubbed into your face with the sandpaper, and it still doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about LIK now. You
Yeah.
can go watch that video. But point is, the storytelling in this movie is top tier. Beautifully done.
Yeah. I should. Okay. You started talking about LIK.
Screw that. Talk about Vaazha.
I am zoning out. Angyo,
Because of
I'm
Azees.
zoning out. Shut up. Okay. Yeah. எனக்கு வந்து அந்த விஷயம், I think அந்த particular factor that how they tell ஒரு கதை, how they start, அது வந்து maybe I'm biased to Mollywood, or it's just most of the Malayalam movies does that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of the place also. See, I love Kerala. Yeah, I love Kerala. Adnala, I'm very biased to that place, okay va? Maybe because of that, ஒரு விஷயம், they don't have to put in so much effort and do so much. It's beautiful as it is. Adnalaya, maybe it's God's own country, so I don't know.
Okay, this is a review of Vaazha, not Kerala.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Yeah. அதான் வந்து படத்தோட one-liner, I think Fadin just said how it's
beautifully done this.
Yeah. No, ஒரு father and son ஓட அந்த ஒரு emotional.
That's not what the whole movie is about. It's not going to milk the father-son emotion right throughout it.
Okay.
There are so many themes that it's talking about, but one of the core elements of it that keeps you, immersed is the relationship between the fathers and the sons.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry. Were you going to say something? Sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Okay. I had நிறைய questions அந்த படம் பார்க்கும்போது, but just in the topic சொல்லும்போது I had a question. என்னன்னா, did you feel like the father and son relationship இந்த படத்துல was a really strong connect right from the beginning, or was it just part of the second half and endingல emotional ஆகணும்னு அது மாதிரி ஆன மாதிரி இருந்துச்சா உங்களுக்கு?
No.
Okay.
No. Was it like that for you?
No. When I think about it, I feel like starting when they were showing scenes and how the relationship of those two were, and ஆனா எண்டிங்ல இமோஷனலா இருக்கணும்னு ஆக்குற மாதிரி இருக்கும்னு எனக்கு ஒரு ஃபீலிங்.
Maybe, I get where you're coming from. I get why you think that way, but I don't think the movie mishandled that, because the first movie did something really well, which is letting people form their own judgments about what's happening when you don't see the characters. Obviously, when you're making a movie, when you're writing the script, and when you're trying to put together a story around a movie, you don't want to leave too many things unsaid, because that just leaves gaping large plot holes, and people leave the cinema halls thinking, well, that character arc went nowhere. Like, why did that even happen? Like half of the characters in Kili,
Rajinikanth movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half the characters didn't need to exist.
I forgot what movie Kili was.
We'll talk about that and I'll rip into it later, but this one's Vaazha. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, in hindsight, it does seem a bit towards the end where there's just a sudden revelation for all the dads that, their sons are not that bad after all. It could seem pushed, but what I like to think is the movie and the director does a really good job of letting the audience imagine that behind everything that you just saw in the movie, when the boys are out there having fun, when the boys are out there, talking to each other, heading out and just having some tea, or stressing out about their lives, when you're seeing all of that, what you're not seeing is the dads going through their own lives and having their moments where they're thinking about their relationship with their sons. And at some point, maybe it just switched on that maybe we're being too hard on them. And maybe, the movie could have shown that to us. But that's where we run the risk of the movie trying to make it too obvious. So the balance of letting us figure out what we are seeing and letting us understand that there are things happening behind what we're seeing, it was a good trade-off. It's like the movie treats us with a certain level of intelligence, to understand that, just as these boys are growing up and having their moments in life where they're learning through the ups and downs, maybe in the background the dads are also figuring things out. Speaking of which, I think these guys should get together, make a sequel focusing on the dad's lives.
Oh God.
That would knock it out of the park.
Wait, like how many? There's another one coming already.
Which I think is pointless. You'll understand why when I talk about the second movie, but I think it'd be nice if they did a perspective on the dads. It's like, take the exact same movie, same characters, same plot, but you just completely flip the narrative and you're showing the same story but from the perspective of the dads, their lives and how they're figuring things out. It might be a good play with this movie, but up to the producers and directors.
Yeah, I think you are right here. When Basil comes and talks to the father, the dads and then the boys.
Basil, I love you.
Yeah, so Basil, I love his laugh.
I love everything about him. His mustache, his hair, his beard.
Now, நீங்க என்ன பண்றீங்க? Last time நான் Rajeswari பத்தி கண்ணன். Okay, so when Basil comes and talks to the boys and the dads, அப்போ he'll ask questionsல. நீங்க என்ன பண்ணீங்க? உங்களுக்கு அப்போ they will not have an answer. So they also had a childhood and a teenagehood where they went through so many stuff like these.
You were saying, the dads, their pasts and their lives were hinted at when Basil was talking to them in the police station.
Yeah, so that, again, I was going to say the movie was beautiful. I loved it. First part. But again, இது மேபி நான் ஒரு கொஸ்டினா கேட்கணும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சு ரொம்ப கிரிட்டிசிசம் பண்ணணும்னு பண்ண மாதிரி இருந்திருக்கலாம். பட் see, எனக்கு ஆப்வியஸ்லி லாஸ்ட்ல அந்த ஃபாதர்ஸ் when they're defending the sonலாம் நான் ஆஃப் அங்க ஷோ அப்படின்னு உட்காந்துருந்தேன். அந்த மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. பட் ஐ ஃபெல்ட் லைக் மேபி அது ரொம்ப டக்குன்னு அந்த லாஸ்ட்ல மட்டும் பண்ணாங்களோ. ஏன்னா விஷ்ணுவோட ஃபாதர்லாம் ஹில் கமிட் சூசைட்ல அதுக்கு முன்னாடி சீன்ல அடிப்பார் ஏதோ வராது அப்படிலாம் சொல்லுவோம். அப்படிலாம் இருந்துட்டு டக்குன்னு ஏன் அப்படின்னு
டக்குன்னு இல்ல, the guy jumped out of his building and almost died. That can change that.
Okay, yeah.
The guy almost killed himself. That can change things drastically.
But அப்பயும் அவர் ஹாஸ்பிடல் he'll keep saying உங்கனால தான் இந்த பசங்களோட ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஷிப்னால தான். அது அவர் சொல்வாரா அவர் சித்தி?
No, it was him. It was Vishnu's dad. But was it Vishnu or Aju?
I think it's Aju's dad. He'll say உங்கனால தான் இவன் இப்படி ஆயிட்டான், something like that. அதுக்கப்புறம் they'll not do anything. 2 வருஷமோ ஏதோ they won't do anything. அப்புறம் தான் they'll start doing business, கரெக்டா?
No, it was Vishnu.
Vishnu's dad?
Yeah, Vishnu's dad.
Vishnu's dad.
That's Aju, that's Vishnu.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I'm saying
whose dad says that. It's Vishnu's dad.
Okay.
So when Vishnu jumps off the building, Vishnu's dad's blaming the other kids and saying his life is ruined because of you guys, and if you guys had stayed away, this wouldn't have happened. To me, that was trauma. That was shock speaking. because just a few sequences later, I mean, in real life it's maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, but in the movie it's a couple sequences later where he realizes, you know what, these guys may not be the best of the bunch out there. They're not, the sharpest lads. They're not the most sorted. They're not the most practical, organized. But what they are is really strong in their love and support for each other. They've been through some shit in their lives, but they've always been together through all that shit. And when the dads start to understand that, all of the ups and downs that these guys have been through, they've always been through it together. They kind of weirdly understand that they can trust them to get through stuff. They will get to... they will mess up again. They know that they will. But they are slowly starting to understand that even when they do mess up again, they're probably going to do it together and get through it together as well. And it's beautifully shown. Again, it's just so subtle and gentle and warm in how it's portrayed and conveyed. None of it comes out, too jarring or cold or shoved onto the screens. It just flows.
Very real.
Very real. It flows elegantly. And when you're talking about it from a perspective of movie making, the editing of it, the cuts in the movie, it's not too abrupt. The cuts are as gentle as the movie is. The music fits in so beautifully. It's not pumped up beats and vibes just to get on the trending music charts. It's fun where it needs to be, it's chill where it needs to be, it's emotional where it needs to be, and most importantly, it's quiet where it needs to be. A lot of the movies make the mistake of thinking every scene, every shot, every sequence needs some kind of background music. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes just the silence and the ambient sounds of vehicles passing through in the background, people chattering in the background, the breeze, the wind, those are the sounds that you need to hear. Sometimes you just don't need the music. And that is done really well in this movie. And I just can keep gushing over how good this first movie was. If you're a dad, if you're a child just figuring life out, if you're in the weeds of it, if you're in the depths of the emotions, you're going through stuff and you're feeling a bit lost, this is a beautiful movie to watch. It doesn't tell you a very outwardly positive message like, what, everything's going to be okay, it's all going to be rainbows and sunshine in a couple of days. No. But it gives you hope in a very
subtle way,
messy and subtle way. But unfortunately, that's how real life is. Hope is not like objectively clear, and it's not like a nice, flashy, fancy banner that you see. It's like this little bit of light that you see past the mist and the fog and all that. It's not clear. It's a bit, mushy, and it's there, but you just can't reach it yet. That's how the movie, portrays hope as well. It tells you it's there, but it's just not in your reach yet. You've got to grow to seek it. You've got to pursue it, but it's there. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. So, yeah, question to you now. So do you want to dissect the first one in terms of what could have been done better, or do you want to jump into the second?
No, first one எனக்கு வந்து ஃப்ளாவே கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியல.
Exactly.
That's how good this movie these was. Questions because நான் உட்கார்ந்து யோசிச்சா இது இப்படி இருந்திருக்குமோ அப்படின்னு தோணுனதுனால I asked those questions. But again, இது சொல்ற போதே I had இன்னொரு question when you said இதுவும் வந்து சும்மா கேட்குற மாதிரி இருக்கும்னு எனக்கு தோணுது. If you don't want, you can cut it, ஓகேவா? When you said there is hope somewhere in the end, straight இல்லை. And எனக்கு என்ன ஒரு டவுட்னா, not all the last benches are going to see. நான் தப்பா எதுவும் இங்கே மீன் பண்ணி சொல்ல. பட் படத்துல வந்து அவங்க ரொம்ப லேட் பேக்கா பெருசா படிக்காம ரொம்ப சில் பண்ணிட்டு எக்ஸாம்ஸ் ஃபெயில் ஆயிட்டு அட்டன் பண்ணாம and then 2 years they'll be idle, they won't do anything, they just play, do stuff, and then they are starting a business, doing something ன்றது good. Obviously it gives us hope, gives anyone hope. யாரா இருந்தாலும் ஓகே நம்ம படிக்கல வைக்கல பட் லெட்ஸ் டூ சம்திங்னு ஒரு ஹோப் கொடுக்குது. Do you think அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு
Are you asking me if that's misleading?
yes is it like, so
That's a very good question.
anyone who's very laid back in life, in school and college, saying na paathupen, let's say for example watching these movies, do you think those kids or those teenage people will be too comfortable and won't try stuff?
That is such a good question. Right. So what I was saying was, the reason why that's a really good question is kind of based in the movie in itself. And that also feeds into why this is a really good movie, because that directly answers the question. Yes, these guys are irresponsible. These guys are too careless. They're too laid back. They're too casual. They're not taking any serious dedication to any aspect of their lives except maybe each other and the friendships that they've built and the relationships that they're pursuing, and of course the relationship with their dads that they're trying to build and protect. There are certain things that these guys are taking seriously, but a lot of the variables that the society is expecting you to be serious about, these guys are not, and they're facing the consequences of it. And the movie kind of takes you to a position towards the third act where these guys are actually figuring stuff out, and they're making their way through life and spinning things around. They're seeing the good days. And is that misleading? Is that going to tell the viewers of the movie that you can be messing around, you can be unserious, you can be careless, and eventually it's going to work out? Is that misleading? No. And I'll tell you why. Because in the same movie, you've got Vishwam.
Okay. Yeah.
In the same movie, in the same plot,
Yeah.
you've got a character called Vishwam. And this guy, man, I'm sorry, I don't know the name off the top of my head. I'm just going to look up who Vishwam is. Soft Boy. I mean, that's a pretty
Soft
cool
Boy?
name. Soft Boy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
BC Vishwam.
Yeah, BC Vishwam. So this guy, right, he's the exact opposite of these boys. So this guy is like the molded perfection that Indian society is expecting of the young lads. It's like front bencher, always submitting his homeworks on time, acing his tests every single time, straight A's right from LKG to his 12th grade. There's never a subject that he scored less than 100 on. And a top tier, above all else kind of person. And it's not just studies, right? He's also gold medalist in all of the sports that he's pursuing. He's like the dream child that every Indian family wants to have. What?
No, suddenly we were like mimicking and we were like boasting.
Yeah, I mean, you see that in the movie. You'll see that in the movie. But what happens is at some point, this guy is kind of lost and he's thinking, I've always done things right, but why? And he's kind of in a midlife crisis where things are just falling apart. Even though he did everything right, things are just falling apart. And that does happen, unfortunately. Like in life, you could be doing everything by the book as expected by society, checking all the right boxes, education, sports, taking care of your mental health, physical health. And life can still, bit slap you in the face when you're like 30 and you're just left there wondering why. What did you do wrong? You just didn't. The odds of life were just not in your favor at that point. And that's what happens to Vishwam. And maybe sometimes you end up lucky. You don't do things right. You coast through life with very little respect towards consequences. And eventually things just work out, because the odds were in your favor. And that's what happens to these guys. Things work for them. And for Vishwam, for some reason, it just doesn't. And the movie does a really good job of showing you both sides of how life can turn out to be. And what it also shows you is neither of them are right or wrong. You can obviously debate, certain elements of it, fragments of it. This is objectively morally right and this is objectively morally wrong. But again, in zooming out and looking at the bigger picture, even if you do all of the objectively morally right things, life can still screw you over like it did with BC Vishwam, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just how it is. It is what it is. You just have to deal with the cards that you're dealt with. And I don't think that's misleading to tell someone that you can mess around with life, maybe things will work out, and you can do everything right in life and things can still not work out. They're both equally true, and I don't think that's misleading. Do you think that's misleading?
Okay, no.
You didn't think of Vishwam when you asked that question, did you?
Yeah, I
the movie answers that.
The minute you said Vishwam, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because the minute you said it,
yeah,
like you said, it
just makes
the
sense.
Whole thing. Yeah,
it just makes sense. Yeah,
it's like we'll show you both the side. You
decide what you want.
Yeah, and it's okay to go through either of it.
Yeah,
எல்லாருக்கும் நடக்கிறதுதான் மாதிரி.
More than kind of trying to imply that it's okay to go through either, what the movie implies is it's not in your hands. It's not that you're choosing to go either route. You're not intending to go the Aju route, or you're not intending to go the Abdul Kalam route or Vishnu route or the BC Vishwam route. You do your best, right? You do what you humanly possibly can, and then the rest is out of your hands. That's what the movie tells you.
Yeah, and it tells it beautifully. I think beautiful is the right word for the movie. It's beautiful.
One line review. Pala, beautiful, done.
Yeah, Vaazha 1.
Oh yeah, the first part.
Okay.
I mean, by now you obviously know I'm going to rip into the second one, but
yeah. Let's move to part 2. Part 2 oda one-linera நான் என்ன சொல்லனா, இந்த படத்துல எப்படி father and son இருந்துச்சோ, I'm not comparing இந்த படமும் அந்த படமும். I'm just saying அந்த மாதிரி part 2 வந்து is a emotional, it talks about the emotional bonding between siblings and other stuff too.
And fathers.
Yeah, கொஞ்சம் tiny bit. Yeah. இந்த படத்து, do you want to say a one-liner about part 2, or shall I jump into the questions?
To try and keep it really short. Yes, that's what the movie does. It's again kind of digging into human relationships, between friends, between siblings, school life, adulthood, and the transitions involved, and again your relationships with your family and societal expectations. It's pretty much the same variables, but just different people, different lives, different perspectives, but not as beautifully done. That's my take of the second movie.
Okay. Do you think part 2 la they showed so many things, like the sibling relationship, drug, in the abroad life, and then teachers or the involvement, all of this. Do you think that was a lot and maybe not shown very well?
I wouldn't say it was a lot. I'd probably say it was not shown as well as the first movie. That's what I'd say. Because if you took the second movie, changed the title completely, made it a standalone movie, not Vaazha 2, whatever else you call it, make it its own thing, I probably would have liked it much better than I like it now. Because they made it a sequel and it did nothing to the original movie. It didn't take it further. It didn't give you a different perspective. It didn't give you a continuation. Did I already say that?
I think so. No, you didn't.
It's not like, a prequel. It's not a continuation.
இது
It's
பார்த்தாதான்
not
அது
a twist.
புரியும்.
Like, if the second movie was based on the father's perspectives, I would have loved it, right? But that's not what the second movie is. The second movie is just a completely different bunch of kids going through their own problems, getting through life. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a pretty decent, enjoyable, beautiful movie on its own. But it should not have been a sequel to the original, which, if you ask me, is a classic. Do not touch classics. And from Southern Indian movies, the only movie that I can think of where they made a sequel and it was either equally as good as the original or even better was Jigardanda. Jigardanda 1 and Jigardanda 2 are classics on their own. And Karthik Subraj did a brilliant job at making both of those movies. And Vala 1 and 2, they're just not. One, brilliant movie, amazing movie. Two, good, but just doesn't do justice to being a sequel to such an amazing movie. And now there are, talks that there's going to be a third, which I'm a bit worried about, because if they make one and it's bad, it just ruins the first two. It's like the second already kind of did some disservice to the first by not being as good as the first. And a third movie coming in and making it worse, I'm a bit worried. But I don't know, if I was being optimistic, I hope the third one comes in and knocks it out the park and, it's better than the first two. That'd be nice. I'd be very happy to be proven wrong there.
I felt like the sibling relationship that they showed in the second part just didn't hit the spot as it did in the first part where they showed the father. Yana, the lastla, Alan will call his sister and say, படி எவ்வளோ வேணா, I'll be there, நான் பேசுறேன் அப்பா கிட்ட, all that. Well, it
the relationship was not established as much in the movie for that sequence to make an impact.
No, I was going to say, suddenly again he wanted to talk to his sister. Like, அவங்க அம்மா அப்பதான் she would have called and said, பேசுறியா நீ, she wants to do, she's got scholarship plan. And அப்போ he'll say no. And then, okay, maybe it happens for all of us. They didn't know, in a few seconds we'll think, I'll be like, சரி பாவம் அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, and then we'll call. But ஏன் அவன் அப்படி ஃபீல் பண்ணா அதை காட்டலையோ அப்படின்னு. After that they'll show like montage மாதிரி, where when they were kids they'll share ice cream அந்த மாதிரி. But yeah,
they should have done
he
that
called it
in the movie
அப்படின்றது எனக்கு தோணுச்சு first. But it was beautifully shown in the other relationship, the boys, the brothers. One will go to Dubai and then the other one will.
Yes.
That was அழகா காமிச்சிருந்தாங்க. It was very nice.
That was probably the best story arc of the second movie, the brothers. Especially
the scene where he explains the tone of his WhatsApp message. That is, ஐயோ, நான் அந்த சீன்ல ஆஃப். I was like, ரொம்ப அழகா இருந்துச்சு.
It's too real.
Yeah. And it's like, it's obvious, it happens to all of us. It's very natural. It's not written for a movie. Namma will never read ஒருத்தங்களோட text in the same emotion as they sent it to us.
100%.
So அத அவன் எப்படி சொன்னா, அதை எப்படி புரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டான். அந்த பிரதரோட ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் was really nice. And how the younger one will say, நீ போய் படி, you study well, நான் பார்த்துக்கிறேன். அது was nice. But Alan and sister, அவன் ஏன் கடுப்பாய், அந்த பொண்ணு படத்துக்கு போச்சு, இவனும் தான் தப்பு, இவனும் ட்ரக் பண்றான், ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸோட வெளில சுத்துறான். அந்த பொண்ணுக்கும் ஒரு ஆசை இருந்திருக்கும், போயிருக்கும் ஸ்கூல் படிக்கும் போது வித் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் ஆப்வியஸ்லி. ஸோ அதே மாதிரி he brings a girl to their friend's house. இல்லை, whose house, I don't know who's that guy. Where is he?
Oh, this is the cast of the first movie.
No, second is also there. Alan is there, Hashir is there, and one more guy, Ajin. No,
this guy, Vivekanand. No, he was in the first movie.
Okay, யாரோ ஒருத்தங்க வீட்டுக்கு before the sunat scene happens, they'll all get together in a house.
They'll be drinking.
Yeah, appo Alan will bring a girl and they'll be cutting a cake before they do the sunnat to Alan.
Yeah.
So நீ அதெல்லாம் செய்யலாம்.
That was Alan's girlfriend?
Yeah, girlfriend or friend, I don't know. But when your sister went to a movie, skipping classes was wrong and you didn't speak to her for a long time and suddenly you felt bad and you started talking. அது வந்து கொஞ்சம் சிங்கே இல்லாத மாதிரி it felt. It just didn't hit right. அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சு.
And the same with Hashir.
Hashir and the brother.
Yeah, like he does something really good for his brother, where he's getting caught for possession of drugs, and he takes the blame for his younger brother. So his younger brother doesn't have to go through some really grueling times and face the consequences of his actions, which is really noble of the bigger brother. But the movie didn't really show us much of their relationship at all. So the weight of that sequence didn't land as much. It was impactful, but if they had spent a bit more time showing us their relationship, the same as with Alan and his sister, the sequence where Alan changes his heart about his relationship with his sister, and the sequence where Hashir takes the blame for his brother would have meant a lot more in the movie. And it's not the same with the brothers. Their relationship is established just a bit more, and when he's going to Dubai to work with his elder brother in a construction site, and the message conversation happens, it hits a bit stronger and it lands better.
First ஒரு 15 minutes how they showed Hashir oda அந்த ஒரு பிக் பிரதர் நீ அப்படின்ற அந்த இதை படத்துல அங்கங்க காமிச்சிட்டு லாஸ்ட்ல இதை காமிச்சிருந்தா கூட
it just happened in the third act.
Yeah, and but it also shows நீ ஒன்னு செய்துட்ட, டோன்ட் வரி நான் பார்த்துப்பேன் அந்த மாதிரி. அதுக்கு நடுவில் நான் எதுவுமே பண்ணலனாலும் அந்த எண்ட்ன்றது மாதிரி கூட we can take it.
Maybe.
Yeah, so it's nice, but overall I think only those two.
It's like with the first movie, when I said the movie balances showing us what's happening with the boy's life, but also letting us understand that the dads are also going through their own lives. It's like balancing what you show the audience and what you don't. And in the second movie there's just a lot that's not shown.
Yeah, and because we assume whatever we want, and
because of there's quite a lot not shown. What is shown, the impact of it is reduced just a bit. So the emotional depth of the second movie feels comparatively shallower versus the first. The third act of the first movie, you're really fighting your emotions, you're really feeling it. And the second one, it's like nice, I guess, but definitely not a bad movie. I wouldn't say the second is a bad movie. It's just, as a sequel to the first, it's not as good. So would I recommend it? 100%. Both those movies. People need to watch both. They're really good movies on their own, and there's a lot to be understood and felt and thought about. The movie makes you ask some really interesting questions, like she's been asking me. Some could be controversial, and some could be quite emotional, and I'd say put your mind to both. Don't shy away from, or don't run away from any of those questions. As raw as they seem, as deep as it may be, go through it. On a scale of 10, first movie,
I'd say 9.
Fucking A. Yeah. Second movie,
6.57.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Ah,
it was
okay.
not bad, it was really good, but
I mean,
as good as
I
the
didn't
first
think
one.
there'd be that big of a gap. So 9 for the first, 6 for the second.
Maybe 7.5.
Okay, fair.
What's your score for 1?
I probably sound like an Indian teacher, with the marks here. I can't give you 100 because there's always room for improvement. The first movie was really damn good. But because there are just much, much better movies out there, I can't give it a 9. I just can't. Because, like I said, out there in the wild, something like Requiem for a Dream exists. And when something like that exists, you just can't give this one a 9. It's not fair. So, all things considered, I'd say the first one is a 6.5. Seems harsh.
You are a very strict teacher.
Yeah, it does seem harsh. But there are just really good movies out there. And if those movies are a 10 in my books, this is a bit far off. So Vaazha 1 is maybe a 6.5, 7 if I'm being generous. 7 for the first part. And the second one, I'd probably say a 5. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Do you have any more questions? I think it was my tummy.
I mean, I do have questions, but I'm going to ask those questions to my dad.
Well, after watching this movie, you guys should... It's nice to have open conversations with the family, I would say.
I mean, not always, because there are some really bad families out there. And if you are in a situation like that, don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't victimize yourself. Because yes, you've been dealt bad odds. Yes, you do have a bad family. But I'm pretty sure someone close by, probably much closer than you think, in your proximity, is looking out for you. Just reach out, ask for help, because no matter how bad things can seem, there is help out. There is someone to help out there. And sometimes you just gotta ask for it, no matter how painful it seems. And if you had if you're lucky to have a really good family, yeah, just sit down with your mom and dad, ask them to watch this movie, and ask them the hard questions. It's gonna help both of you.
It will help both of... Yeah, it really will. Yeah, okay. I think we've been talking for a lot. And it'll be
because the more we talk about it, exactly that's what I was going to say. The themes of this movie are just so deep and meaningful. The more you talk about it, what is supposed to be a movie review can end up being a therapy session, which I am not qualified for. So, and neither is she.
Yeah. So I'd probably need therapy. But do watch both the films.
Yeah.
If you can, watch it with your family.
Watch the second one first and then the first, so you have more positive...
No, you can't do that.
Oh shit, yeah, you can't do that. Watch the first and then the second. I'm not going to spoil this. I mean, I pretty much spoiled like 99% of the movie, but there's one bit we haven't talked about, and it's
a really good bit.
Yeah, it should stop because we might spoil it. Yeah.
Okay, but do watch both the movies. If possible, watch it with your family, friends. It's really, really nice.
Get your boys together, watch this. Yeah. It's going to be nice.
And do sit and talk with your families. Or Fadin sonna madri, if you think they won't understand, talk to someone who's close to you. If you think you need to, it's always good to talk and let things... Not always, but... I'll say it's always good to talk and let things out. It's going to make you feel better.
But if you need therapy, get therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just end it.
One eternity later.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a therapy session. We should probably cut.
We'll cut. It's okay if you disagree with some of the thoughts of your friends or anyone, but like you said, you have really good friends, you can have disagreements. Yes, you can have disagreements, you can fight for it, but end of the day, you are still friends for who they are, not for their opinions. Yeah. So, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not excited to finish it. I would love to talk more.
Because this is just that kind of a movie. It's so good that you want to keep talking about it.
Yeah, but it'll be too much. But if you do have any movie suggestions or anything about this movie that you liked what we said or want to discuss more,
You want
You
to
can
beef with us?
definitely-
You got an opinion that differs with ours?
yeah,
Bring it.
yeah,
I
we
will
love
fight
to
you.
talk about it. Okay, so kandipa solunga, we'll do it. Yeah.
We'll fight. Yeah, we'll fight it out.
Yeah. So thank you for watching the thank you for watching. I felt like the usual quote by for you to be thank you for watching. I didn't mean that, but really thank you for watching. Please let us know if you have about it. And any other movies you want us to have discussions. Yeah. And that's Fadeen, and this is Jazz, this is Jas-tified, and here we talk movies. And we're saying bye.
See you guys. Bye. Yeah, we are not therapists.
Okay, basically,
we just talk shit about movies.
Yeah,
So,
we like to talk about movies.
the only opinion from us that you should be even remotely considering is the shit that we say about movies. If you've got similar-ish taste in movies, you can probably consider what we say, what we've got to say about the movies that we're talking about. If you like it, we like it. If we like it, if you like it, if you're someone who likes a movie that I really don't like, I mean, we probably don't like the same movies, but
it'll lead to a good conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I sound salty, but I'm
you're
not
very sweet.
No, I am salty, but I'm not as salty as I sound.
Yeah, he's very sweet.
But yeah, we
Sorry.
need to edit this shit. What we're saying is, it's good to have opinions. It's bad to be divided on them. It's good to have opinions, bad to be divided on them, better to discuss them. That's how opinions should work.
Disagree with each other. We don't agree with all of the things.
We don't agree on anything. Like, she likes Pradeep Ranganathan movies.
Okay, you can drop that.
I am not going to drop that.
You wanted to watch Dude the other day.
Because I'll tell you why, right? Because if let's say you're in a perfume store and then you're trying all these really good perfumes, you've got Jacques Bogart, you've got I'm thinking of too many good perfumes.
Okay, good perfumes. Then.
Good perfumes. You're in a perfume store, you're checking out 10 different perfumes, and you need to reset your nose. And you can't smell the notes of perfumes if your nose is too saturated. So similarly with movies, if you're watching a lot of good movies, sometimes you just got to watch a shit one so you understand how good the other movies are. That's why I wanted to watch Dude. The next talk is probably going to be about Dude. I'm going to rip into that shit.
No. Okay. Why did we start saying that?
About what, Dude?
Yeah.
Because of our disagreements.